Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So this is my center console that I built, and yeah, this is a little crooked, so go ahead, you guys can make fun of me, hit me up in the comments, I don't give a shit. It's going to be where the cup holders go, and you can see the cord comes through there, right through the center, all nice and neat and wrapped up for right now, and it does reach outside my door to go up there through the A-pillar, so I can close the door when I'm making rips. And yeah, I'm gonna put the cup holders in here, so gotta get those ordered in, and then I'll throw some epoxy on them probably. I'll see how they fit first, and if they're snug fit and I gotta kind of tap them to get them in there, then I probably won't epoxy them. I'll probably just leave them. That way, then if I ever need to pull them out or something to get in there, to get to like the wiring and stuff, makes it a little easier for me. Yeah, so that's my little deal. I got that done so far. And then I did do some wall stuff the other day, if I can get around here with this camera. So I got one 2x4 going up to the top. I have a 2x4 going across the top. This is part of those splits that I did. The 24x24, that's why that gap's right there and it looks weird. Right there. But yeah, that's why that gap's there, is because it's, I just used the 24 pieces and had to cut this one down a little bit. Otherwise it would have went too long and it would have went over into my setup there. So this is on the A-pillar line. The box will be behind the A-pillar line. Top of the box, on the other hand, is a little bit past the A-pillar, or not past it, but it's like right on it. So it's gonna be iffy, because then this part here, it becomes part of the roof line, and for the roof liner or headliner, and they might say that that's part wooded, but unfortunately it's not wooded all the way across, so I can argue that fact. That's going to be a little tricky, but camera spin, I do have this one up here too as well, and it's Craig jigged into the bottom down there right against the very edge of the box, so that'll be the front of the box. This will end up being the front of the port, will be right here. So that'll be basic port wall. This is just the side of the box that's going to get, I gotta put a piece of cloth across here and hit that up with some resin and make it hard as a bypass right here, so it's going to be shelled in, and then all of this gapping all the way back is going to be filled in with foam. So all my wires are down there, zip tied along a trough, and then goes up over the wheel well, all super nice. So it's up out of the way, and hopefully I never ever have to get to it again, because otherwise I have to cut out a lot of foam, like feet of foam. We're talking a lot of feet of foam, because that's all going to be filled in. That's a big gap to fill. And this is going to be where the box literally is the port. This is the top of the head. It's going to be sitting kind of in the port slightly. I'm still going to have this out a bit, I guess, because I'm going to have to do like a little kind of beauty baffle, I guess, on the front face that's going to be cut in with plywood or particle board. I haven't decided yet. Particle board is cheaper, so if you that particle board is cheaper. It's heavier, and it's not as dense as like MDF, but it is less dusty, I guess, and it does the trick. It's still good wood. I mean, that shit works really well. It's heavy, but it works good. And this is 2 layers of 1/2 inch up here, and then when I get a chance to build off that corner, I have to make a swoop in here and I'm gonna have to put a 2x4 going across there to tag these to the 2x4 coming from there, and have them Craig jigged into the bottom. And then once I get up on the top end, they'll just screw right into the 2x4. I got these things notched so they rest right up against the roof line, and then I screwed in from this side with one on this side, and you can tell it split the wood a little bit. I got a little too close to the edge here, but on the other side I went through with a 3-inch coming up at a dramatic angle to come through, to go through the 2x4 and into the this other 2x4. And so it's on there. It's solid. And the other side is the same way. And I'm gonna have to do that, continue that all the way down. I'm doing, I think, maybe 1 or 2 more on this line, and that's it. And then these are just studs. And then the other board for the actual internal board of the box will go right up against this. And I may only do 1 layer of 3/4 for the internal box. Either that, or I'll do 2 layers of half, which will give me a 1 inch. And that will suffice for me. I don't need anything bigger than that. And with the half, it's easier to use a stud finder to find these things when you put the board up. So you just corner match it right here. Then you already know where you're screwing. You can corner match it to the end, screw that one in, use a stud finder, find the middle. Then the next board goes on. You don't even need to hit the studs. You can just use little like 1/2-inch screws and just go right through the, well, 1.5 inches probably, maybe 1 inch. 1-inch screws would work, and go right through here into the other chunk of wood, and it doesn't matter. So you don't have to find the stud every time. And that'll work that way. Then when I get done, when I get that side done, that side, I have to have that 2x4 over here, because I have to fiberglass in from that line on the track for the sliding door to the 2x4. And then that's gonna get fiberglassed in, and that'll be blowing into with the expanding foam for the blow-in foam on that side. That's why I covered these windows too, so if the expanding foam expands too much and it blows out the window, at least it's being held together by sound deadening. And then I can just cut out the sound deadening from the outside, or cut the glass out or whatever, and take it in one chunk. So I don't have glass pieces everywhere. That's the theory anyways. But once I get that all done, then I'll put, just screw in. I'll probably have to use the stud finder again on the sides here. And once I find that stud, this stud, and the other one, I'm gonna put L brackets and then slide the board in. So say this is the depth that I want my, for the airport, for this, I guess, front wave of the sub, because they're gonna be, well, technically that'd be the back wave, because I'm gonna have them firing out of phase. Yeah, so anyways, that'd be the back wave going up. So the sub's firing into that chamber, and that chamber is gonna be a sealed chamber. And then the freaking downfire that I have, which is gonna be the actual upfire, because I'm running a lot of phase, if that makes any sense at all. Which, if you don't know about car audio and you're watching this, that's basically what it does. It reverses the polarity of your sub. So instead of it playing with the up wave being towards the front or face of the sub, the up wave becomes towards the magnet, which makes it so that the subs fire into the box, down firing into the actual center chamber of the this huge box that I'm building. So basically right here would be the cutoff. That would be the height and the depth of the back wave box. which would be for here. And there'll be an L bracket, and then I'll just slide it's like gonna be like kind of a heavy duty one, almost like the whole width of this, or at least the middle width of the 2x4. And then it'll stick out kind of far. About like something like that, maybe a little further. I can get that in there. I can't really get that in there, but it'll be out to like right there or so. And then what I'll do is I'll just be able to slide the top boards that actually make up the sub mounting surface right to that, and then screw those directly to that with the L brackets. And then it makes it a lot quicker for installation of that top piece. The only thing that I have to do is when I cut and measure the top piece, make sure that it's in and properly sitting on those L brackets. Don't screw it down, and then pull it out and make one cut. And only one, basically the first one, and then I can make dummy cuts after that, like a matching ring. So I'll take a couple layers. I'll probably do like 2 layers of 3/4. That should work perfectly fine. Do the 3 layers or 2 layers of 3/4. I don't think I should have any more worries than that. It's only 10 tens. By the way, I'm upping it to 10 tens, not 8 tens, because with 10 tens, I can, in dual 2 ohm, I can still get them into a 1 ohm load. And I'm switching the brand of subs because I'm not going with the Harman Audio ones or Harmony Audio ones. I'm going with these other ones. They're SA ones. And so I'm going to go with those, not the SA from Sundown. It's the SA from Somatic Audio, something like that. Seismic Audio? Seismic, there you go. Seismic Audio. So I'm gonna go with those 10s. They look really good. They look like they're well built. 3-inch coil. FS tuning frequency is 32 Hertz. So I have to, once I get the box done and everything's in here, I'll leave it as an open face, basically, and it'll be one big fucking box, and then this will be backed off. And then what I'll do is on that corner coming this way, I will take and stack a 1x6 every so often and do tuning, and just hit the fucker on a burp, check the tuning, see what it says for the frequency, and then do it again, another 1x6, and see what it says, 1x6, see what it says, and just keep doing that. Once I get up to where I need to be, even if I have to take a 1x6 and trim it, like I put another one up and it goes too low or too high, it's always going to be too low if it's sitting wide open. So the bigger the port, the lower the tuning. But it's going to be, I got to space that out, get that where I need it to be at 32, and then, or roughly as close as I can. But I'm hoping to try to dead on 32 it. Once I do that, then it's going to look like a fence, basically, is how the front of the box is going to look. So in order to fix that, I'll go get a sheet of plywood, and I'll just get like a 1/4-inch piece of plywood, like paneling, and just tack that up there, screw that up there to the already in place 1x6s. That way it just covers the 1x6s, so it doesn't look like staggered fence posts or fencing inside the yard or whatever type of fencing. It's just going to look basically identical to that. And then when I put that panel board up, then it'll make it look nicer, and then I can actually fill in all the screw holes with like Bondo, and then sand that down, and then I'll blast it with like Raptor liner or bed liner. Or I might do the same thing that I did to this box and just hit it with that stone paint and a couple layers of lacquer, because that turned out pretty good. Although that stuff does kind of flake off, so I don't really want this other stuff to flake off. If you hit that or nick it or move it wrong, it kind of flakes off. So I'm not too worried about that. I painted the box black first, which I'm glad that I painted the box black first, because if I didn't, it would look ugly as shit. So before you do any of that stonework with that paint, that type of paint, no matter what you're painting, always paint a layer of some color or something underneath it. Once you do that, then everything will turn out way better. It'll look amazing. Even if you're just doing raw steel and you're trying to do like something for your house, like a coffee table, take that raw steel, paint it black, then hit it with the stone. That's gonna be your best bet. But yeah, this thing's coming along quite nicely. I still gotta take those screws and tack weld around those screws and then get those cut off. But once I do that, she'll be good to go. Then she's at least roadworthy at that point, because if it rains, then I don't have to worry about it leaking through and damaging that wood. But that'll be here. I'll talk to somebody and figure that out about who can do that tack welding for me, or I'll just have to go buy a cheap welder somewhere, or maybe go to Acme Tools and see if I can rent one. There's a bunch of junk on my floor. I just vacuumed this thing too. So stupid. But yeah, that's my little center console. I don't really have to have an armrest on it. I like how it is. It's sitting low like that with the low line. It's very comfortable in the sitting position. It doesn't come nowhere near my leg. It won't come near the passenger stuff either. It somewhat lines up with the center console for the fan, but not much I can do when it's stuck between the seats. That's exactly how it lines up for even with the seats and stuff. I didn't take the seats out or nothing to move it. I just slid it in. And this all goes through all the wires go through the carpet in the back, because there's still carpet under here. There's a sound mat, and then there's still carpet, and then it goes underneath the carpet and along here. And this will all be glued back down or pushed back down with 2x4s or something. I'll put something here to tag that carpet back down so it doesn't look so ugly. I might even just take some PL Max and just stick it on there and push it down and set something heavy on there just to hold it for now until it dries, and then I can go through and tack it in other places and stuff as I go, and then it'll look nice. I'm not too worried about it ever having to come apart again. Once this stuff is in, the way that I designed it, once this stuff is in, it's easy to fix stuff. Center console, maybe not so much, but with those doors for the pods, those are stacked up rings. Those are 2 3/4 inch rings stacked up. And I drilled a hole through the actual cardboard that has that cloth over it or carpet, and then that just goes right into the door. There is a little square behind there that a little bit of the motor sits into, but if I ever blow those, I can just pull those out, unhook the wires, and then slap a new one in. And if I ever want to change them, I can do the same thing. Just unscrew it, pull it out, unclip the wires because they're clipped in with just the little clips, kind of like these clips, these little connector clips on their female ends, and then I can just put those back in there. If I ever get speakers that actually have the push terminals on them, I can just cut those connectors off. There's enough extra wire in there that I could do that, no problem. And then the door itself for the crossover, I can just unhook all the wires in sequence so I know which ones they are, and then hook them up to a new crossover and just mount the new crossover. if that crossover ever blows, which I don't think that it would, because I'm only going to be pushing like 200 watts to them, and those things are say they're 300 watts that they can handle before they go out. But recently I've had issues with blowing subs. They say they can handle X amount of power. Fuck me, they can't, unless I'm in Clip City, which I might be, because I don't like that Alpine deck. That Alpine deck is only a 2.5 volt preamp output instead of being 5 volt, so I may have it screaming in distortion land and freaking clipping the shit out of that amp, which is clipping the sub, so pushing the signal a little too hard and not actually having clean, good signal going to it. I think I'm going to order a new deck, which I did talk about that in an earlier video. But yeah, I'm going to get a different deck. As of right now, it's, do I get the new deck and get the subs that I want for there, or do I just keep pumping money into this thing and not have a sub in my car for a while inside the Suburban? Because I can't be pumping money into both projects, because doing the sub setup inside the Suburban that I want to do is going to cost me like 600 bucks. Yeah, to some that's not a lot of money, but to me that's a lot of money. And then finishing out the stuff in here is going to cost me $1,000 for the amp. $1,000 for the amp. Well, close to it. I think that amp is like, depending on what amp I get. If I get the 15K, it's $1,000. If I get the 8K, which would be plenty to run those 10s, then I would get, it would only be like $625, I think, for it. The subs are $125 a piece. So that would be like, yeah, it's like $1,050, something like that. So this is going to be a money pit for a while. I can get the subs in one shot. I can get the amp in one shot, and then I got to get all those batteries, and that's about another $1,000 just for the batteries. So yeah, if I go by realistically and just kept pushing money into this thing instead of into the Suburban, I could have this thing rolling and slamming in 3 months, maybe 4 months, but we'll space it out and say 6 months. So 6 months from now, which would put me at like October-ish, I could be bumping and tuning this thing for next year. But I mean, I want to push it fast and try to get it going as quick as I can and not do the 6 month marker, and try to get that closer to a 3 month marker. But hey, you know, if it takes me 6 months, it takes me 6 months. Anyways, I'm just rambling on right now, wasting screen time, and you guys have probably already fast forwarded through the whole video, so who cares? If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. You don't, give it a thumbs down. Either way, give me the markers, I don't care. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. One more look at this beautiful new creation that I did. I think it turned out really nice. This switch got broke, so I had to replace it. Thanks to my cousin Andrew for that, because I had a metal one, but it looks awesome and it works, so good to go. Thanks guys.